Thank you for watching my presentation. My name is Christina Reilly, and my research was conducted on the repetition of police brutality against African Americans and how we could prevent history from repeating itself again. Within the last year especially, we have been forced to ask why is police brutality still happening? With the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement following the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and many others by the hands of law enforcement, the country has faced unrest. This leads me to my research question, which is how can we prevent police brutality from repeating itself again? For my secondary research, I initially researched statistics. 164 Black men and women were killed at the hands of police in the span of 8 months in 2020. Also, African Americans make up 13% of the US population, yet they account for the 24% of the population that is fatally shot by police. Officers aren't usually reprimanded for their actions. One instance where this happened was with the murder of Breonna Taylor in 2020. Taylor was a Black woman who was murdered when three officers kicked in her door and shot her to death while she was sleeping. Another instance of police brutality that occurred was the death of George Floyd. Floyd was arrested and pinned unconscious beneath three officers for over 8 minutes. In addition, Senator Tim Scott in 2016 gave a speech where he stated that multiple times he had been pulled over by police because he was a Black man driving a nice car. Situations like these have contributed to the fact that the United States has systems and institutions which produce contrasting outcomes regardless of the people who work within them, essentially proving that the country's criminal justice system is racist. One way equality has been advocated is with the Black Lives Matter movement. The foundation's mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted upon Black communities by the state and vigilantes. This isn't the only way that we can fight down police brutality. We can invest in crisis intervention teams and nonprofit organizations. We can also instill oversight upon police departments, we can demilitarize the police, and we can change police culture. I conducted my own research using a Google Form survey to try to analyze how police brutality affects young adults, specifically college students. Here are the questions that I intended to get answers of based off the survey responses I received. How do college students perceive police officers? Do college students believe police officers contribute to systemic racism in America? How do the experiences of college students in terms of police brutality affect their compliance with the police? And how does the attitude that college students have towards the police affect their willingness to fight for ending police brutality? Initially, I asked the questions such as, are you a college student? What area do you live in? And what is your ethnicity? To gain a background of my respondents. I also asked, how do college students perceive police officers? Have you ever been a victim of police brutality or know someone who has? Have you ever seen a case of police brutality occur? Do college students believe police officers contribute to systemic racism? Do college students feel comfortable complying with the police? Do you think police brutality affects college students the most? And finally, would you as a college student personally take action in the fight against police brutality? At the end of my research, it became very apparent that college students perceive police officers in a particularly negative way. The majority of respondents were part of the minority and live in a city area and claim that they do not feel comfortable with the police, which helps to further prove that people within these communities are negatively impacted by the actions of police officers. Many of the respondents had also said that they had either seen police brutality occur or it has happened to them. College students are essentially the future of the country, and we have the power to pave the way and initiate change that needs to come, especially since the negative perception that many have doesn't prevent them from wanting to participate in standing up for their beliefs. As police brutality has repeated itself time and time again throughout history, we're at a point where we can act to make a pivotal change for the future. There's still much more research to be done, but despite all the hardships that minorities have faced in terms of police brutality and systemic racism, there is hope, and us as young adults can be the first ones to initiate change and put an end to police brutality. Thank you for listening, and please feel free to take a look at my full poster PDF to see the full picture of my project.